Hey, it's Sanity at the Movies. You're now listening to it, and we have a special message for you. I am Nathan. That's Ben right there. That's Jake right there. How are we doing today, fellas?
Good.
I'm glad to hear it. Now, Sanity at the Movies is a show that I feel like has really come into its own in the last couple of years, and we've been producing episodes that I'm personally pretty proud of.
What was your last couple of years? I think that we've only been doing this for 2 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Surely not. I think you might be speaking falsely.
In its own feed?
We've actually been doing it. We've done at least two. We did Philadelphia Story and we did It Happened One Night, which means we've done it at least 2 years, right?
Yeah.
I think it's actually been going for
3.5.
Yeah, my friend. This feed has been around since 2019.
This specific feed.
Specific feed, yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that weird? Yeah, it doesn't feel like we... I think the reason that it doesn't feel like that, I stand by there being many entertaining episodes and episodes that are good, but I think the show doesn't really come into its own until October 29th, 2020, when we recorded our Poltergeist episode, which I always point to as the point where we realized, oh, we can talk about broader cultural things. We can do much deeper dives. It's not a great movie, but it was a good discussion. And then we did It's a Wonderful Life, and we went for 3 hours, and we had a lot of fun. And it's like, that was that December.
Didn't we have a Mach 1 take of It's a Wonderful Life already?
Yeah, probably.
On the books?
I think we might have. But we came back to it, and we realized this is what we want to do. We want to do classic films. We want to do deep dives. We want to show our appreciation for the art form that is cinema, but also think about it critically and think about the different cultural things that surround it. And the show's just been a roller coaster of joy since then. I mean, we reviewed Philadelphia Story, My Neighbor Totoro, The Matrix. We did our classic Ramble in the Bronx episode. This is all 2021 stuff.
Wow.
Swing Time. And we've got some cool stuff on the slate for next year, although I don't think I'm at liberty to say any of it right this second.
I mean, we can tease some of it if we want to.
Yeah, let's give people some hints. So, some hints as to what we're doing next year. If I can actually find the list of...
Well, we should tell people.
Yeah.
They're not going to get our... They've not... True or false, they have or have not listened to our end-of-year list.
They have not.
Okay, so the first fun thing
yes.
that we...
Sorry, someone just died above just Top Secret Studio B.
It's really loud.
Yeah.
The first fun thing is that we've decided to cultivate our own, sort of like AFI has their top 100, we're going to cultivate our own top list of movies that we have reviewed. And so starting this year, we've got our top 25 that we have voted on and collated. And
someone has decided to install a bowling rink over my podcast studio, folks. So I'm sorry if you hear any of it, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So yeah, that's fun. That's coming out. And I forget where I was going with any of that.
That's just a fun thing that's going to be great. And it's going to kind of, what's the word? It's going to collate everything that we've done so far in a nice way.
In a sort of, ranking system.
Right.
So that's pretty fun. But yeah, so with that in mind, we have a handful of movies that we know we want to try to see probably in the next year. And so they're tentatively on our list. They have to be tentatively on our list because movies aren't like, oh
my goodness.
Yeah, we have a handful of movies that we know we want to try to fit in if we can, but it's not like, with the booking, we schedule those out, a year in advance because it's just a bunch of classic novels and things like that. And, maybe there's like one release in a year that's coming out that we might be looking forward to or something like that.
Right.
But that is something that we can put on a schedule.
Right.
With movies, movies are so topical. They're so part of the cultural conversation that you want to be flexible. There may be any number of movies that come up.
Even for a podcast that emphasizes classic movies, it's
any number of classic movies could
right.
come up and feel particularly relevant at a particular point in time.
Precisely.
And because movies are only, 1.5 to 3 hours long, you can sit down and just watch that movie. Whereas if you're talking about a novel, like you hit BLM or something like that and be like, well, now we're going to all read in the next day The Invisible Man.
Right.
Or you just can't do that. You can't schedule, reading an entire novel around.
But you can watch Claude Rains' The Invisible Man
You can do any number of
in like 70 minutes or something like that.
you can do any number of things like that that are relevant or that feel relevant, and that still pull from the classic catalog, or things that hit the theaters or whatever that are relevant that you know or can't know in advance.
Right, precisely. But that being said, we do have a somewhat flexible list that we're working from, and I'm just going to give people some clues. So there's a movie about a pet cemetery, but not about a little boy that comes back to life and kills people. There's
What in the world is that?
a movie about. Let's see how many of these clues you guys can. There's a movie. There's a movie about a girl that just doesn't have a clue.
Oh yeah.
There's a movie about a man who's not loud at all.
Yeah.
There's a movie that's not about a story set in Russia, but rather something else. There's a movie that's not about. Maybe I'm just going to do this opposite thing. There's a movie that's not about the beginning of time occurring later.
Oh my goodness.
These clues are awesome.
There's a movie that's not about
Normal hatred.
normal hatred. Now I'm trying to figure out what that is.
About as good as your clues.
Normal hatred. Oh, it's about like
Strange Love, Nathan.
Oh,
Strange Love.
yeah. It's not about Mr. Normal Hatred. We're doing a movie. Wow. It's not about Queen Kong.
Oh my goodness.
We're doing a movie that's not about the Finders at all. We're doing a movie that's not about someone who's from Earth, an earthbound, a terrestrial person. We're not doing any movies about the five senses you would normally think of. And oh boy, it's gonna be one of those episodes. And we won't be having a blue 4th of July. I'll tell you that much, folks. We're gonna be doing the opposite of all those things, most likely. Although it'd be a little flexible. How many did you guess? I bet that you could probably guess most of those.
Yeah,
I think. Although
Maybe.
I was never going to guess Mr. Normal Hatred. That was tough.
I was thinking we get it either.
it was literally the next one on the list.
I know.
and
I know.
it was doing the exact. See,
Well, listen, folks, if you like movies like that, the ones I didn't describe, then you are in for a treat next year. What else are we here to talk about? What we're really here to do is make a fundraising ask, right, fellas? It's the end of the year. We're going into the holiday season. We're going into Warhorn Media's fundraising time of year. So how can people help us out if they've appreciated this show and benefited from it?
we need to bring in $60,000 by the end of the year, and we need some of it pretty fast, even if we're going to make December payroll. So those are just the projections based on how we see things playing out in order to producing the kind of content that you hear here and in other places. We need $60,000 to come in. And so we need your help. If you've appreciated this show, if you've appreciated other shows, there are a couple ways that you can participate. You can help us out. You can become a patron of Sanity at the Movies on a month-to-month basis in any amount, or you can give a one-time gift at warhornmedia.com/give, or you can do both.
We really appreciate anything you can do. The warhornmedia.com/give donation is going to be tax deductible, which is nice. I will say we have a new tier for our Patreon, which is patreon.com/sanity at the movies that I'm really excited about.
If you don't sign up for this tier, a tear might roll down your cheek because of how much you're missing out on.
Yeah, exactly. And tears will roll down our cheeks because we're missing out on you helping us out. So the new tier is called The Cinephile Journey of Discovery. And you might be wondering why it's called that. Well, it's because I couldn't think of anything better. But basically, what you're going to do is you are going to get a personally curated movie education courtesy of Sanity at the Movies. Every month we will send you a book. I think it'll mostly be books, but maybe it'll be some other items.
Probably action figures.
Action figures,
mostly.
Sure. No, Funko Pops.
Funko Pop Wonderful Life action figures?
No, I think it'll mostly be books, like director biographies, making of, screenplays, stories about Hollywood. There's a great amount of good literature and writing that surrounds film. I mean, many of the best writers of the 20th century wrote on the subject or were involved in the subject. And into the 21st century. And so if you're a real cinephile, this one's for you. Basically what we'll do is one of the big movies that we're doing every month, we usually do 2 kind of big classic films from the annals of cinema. And one of those, I will pick out something special related to it, whether it's a screenplay. For example, when we did Psycho, I read a whole book called The Making of Psycho, and it was very entertaining, very interesting, very, gave you all kinds of juicy tidbits about Alfred Hitchcock, his relationship with his wife, Alma. A lot of the context that I provided in that episode came from that book, and it was just really interesting. The story of, the sexuality of what's-his-face, Norman Bates. I can't remember his name right now. I have a new baby. I'm not sleeping well. Anthony Perkins. So there's just a lot of cool, interesting stuff like that, and we'll be sending you a monthly item like that for $50 a month, The Cinephile Journey of Discovery. I highly encourage you to sign up for that if you want to complete your movie education with Sanity at the Movies.
I'm excited about it.
I'm really excited about it too.
Awesome.
We've been moving in this direction for a while, and what I want to do is be the best classic movie podcast. And I don't just mean like TCM, old black and white movies, although I do mean those very much, but just classic movies, whether it's new classics or old classics. And I want to not just geek out about the latest Marvel thing. I don't want to geek out about the latest Marvel thing because the latest Marvel thing stinks these days. But, I want to go deep into the art of film, not just like story and characters and stuff, but the way that the camera works, the way that music works, the way that editing works. I want to be able to talk about those things, go deep in the process, go deep in the history, and do it all from a Christian perspective that does not idolize movies, but does enjoy them, which you find a lot of podcasts out there and resources that idolize them. And you might find a couple that don't even seem to enjoy them that much. I hope that we can do both. And if we are hitting that target, then we'll be doing something special, I think. So support this work. Again, that's patreon.com/Sanity at the Movies. And if you want to help out Warhorn Media more broadly, warhornmedia.com. There's a big give button, or you can, if you're just a junkie for typing in full URLs, you can do warhornmedia.com/give. Anything to add, gentlemen?
I don't think so.
Cool. Well, I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about that top 25. I think that might not be your next episode. I think your next episode might be the Battle of the Scrooges. We're going to do, or we could call it the Turn of the Scrooge.
The Turn of the Scrooge.
The Turn of the Scrooge. Sure. Yeah, that's definitely what we should call it. That is going to be an episode about different Scrooge movies. We all are going to watch a different Christmas Carol, and we are going to talk about it. So look forward to Turn of the Scrooge. Look forward to the top 25 movies that our podcast has ever done. That's a really fun episode. Look forward to more cool stuff like that. And please support the show. Once again, warhornmedia.com/give or patreon.com/Sanity at the Movies. We appreciate your support. And hey, it's a little bit early, but happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas. And there's still the outro music to play. So until next time,
give.
Give, sing.